Your next roaster tonight is going to be Corey Marshall, and Derek was right. Corey is a cool guy, man. Probably the coolest guy in this room. Corey Marshall is so cool, when he walks in a room, the temperature drops by 2 degrees. Corey Marshall is so cool, he can masturbate without his hands. I don't know what that means, but he's a cool guy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Corey Marshall. Thank you, Nick Cantone. Let's give it up for the roasters. I do want to say first that I think Buzz, Derek, and Rick, they deserve a big round of applause for coming up here, because they're not even comedians. I mean, they pick themselves like this. So thank you for participating. That's all serious. All right. Nick Cantone. I hear you're in a band called the Mustache Kings. What happened? The village people stopped recruiting? Most people look cool when they grow a mustache. The last time I seen that lip brow was when I watched To Catch a Predator. Seriously, Cantone, you've built a great career working at the world's top bowling alleys and restaurants across America. You clearly have a great future ahead of you. Working right here at Bottoms Up. With a name like Cantone, you think you'd be making pizza dough. But instead, they'll probably just flip you upside down and use your face as a broom. Yeah. In case you didn't know, he already works here. In fact, he worked there so long that they put his picture on the wall. Rick Bruner, I love you. I need work. To those of you that don't know, Rick Bruner is like the Santa Claus for the Richmond comedy scene. No, not because he's fat and jolly. No, not because he comes to the clubs and eats all the milk and cookies. But because when he comes to town, he comes bearing gifts once a year. And nobody believes him. David C. Wingfield, the bear, my road dog. Road trips with Dave are always fun. No, not because he always brings snacks, but because he has an endless supply of Hollywood stories. And those Hollywood stories are just like the children on Maury. They're probably not his. In fact, if he ever tells you that he goes out with numerous headliners, he's probably talking about his fedoras. Derek Rock. I like Derek. Derek is a bartender at the Richmond Funny Bone. He usually works the bar with a female co-worker. And they usually cackle and complain like old two married lesbians. Buzz with 1 Z. Because 2 Z's is too exciting. And probably hard to spell. His name used to be with 100 Z's. But seriously, Buzz is like a grandfather to me. A grandfather clock with one long ball that swings from side to side. Ray Bullock. What can you say about Ray Bullock that hasn't already been said about dead people? His comedy is like old pimp clothes. Loud and nobody's buying it anymore. If the bearded lady at the freak show had a baby with Uncle Fester's tumor, Ray Bullock would have a love connection. There's a saying that goes, with much power comes great responsibility. This saying has nothing to do with Ray Bullock. Roy Rogers. Back in the day, you know, Roy Rogers had mutton chops. Rumors say that he grew those mutton chops because his face couldn't grow pork chops. We also know that Roy Rogers is dating a beautiful black woman. In his act, he queries, do you know the best thing about dating a black woman? That kinky sex. That's how the joke is now. The joke used to be, do you know the best thing about dating a black woman? Telling everybody you're dating a black woman. Or this one, I'm dating a black woman, everybody, because eating chocolate is the only way I get an erection. Jesse Jarvis. Jesse Jarvis' stage presence resembles a 16th century 13-year-old child selling newspapers. Hear ye, hear ye. Well, get your newspaper. In fact, his jokes has a higher word count than any newspaper you've ever read. He's also a chef. A really good chef. In fact, he baked me a meal one time. And then he said, Corey, how was the meal? And my reply was, honestly, Jesse, your meal was just like your material. I liked them, but I didn't have enough time to finish it. Odyssey Michael. In my book, he is Richmond's, in my book, he is really one of my favorite comedians that I like to listen to. Two things about Odyssey Michael. He had a venture that, didn't take off the way he wanted, but he opened up a comedy club called Rita's Comedy Club. It didn't work, but I applaud you. Another thing you didn't know, Nick Cantone mentioned it, is that he does gardening. But what you did not know was that hold up, I'm reading. But what you did not know is that the garden was first started when he was digging a hole to bury that business plan for Rita's Comedy Club. And he only decided to grow the garden because he had so many seeds that he collected from the fruits and vegetables that was thrown at him when he was on stage. Readers. Andrew Pauley is probably one of the biggest threats. Andrew Pauley is one of the threats when it comes to the roast because a man of his stature is built for delivering low blows. I work with Andrew part-time at the box office at the Richmond Funny Bone. This is his part-time job. His full-time job, you ask? He's a garden gnome in Odyssey's garden. Tom Dustin. I knew when Tom Dustin came, he was going to have a lot of stuff to say about everybody. And I really didn't have great stuff to put against Tom Dustin. I'm not that good of a writer. The only person that can, I think, burn Tom Dustin is Tom Dustin. So here's Tom Dustin roasting himself. How you doing? Let's give a hand for all the comedians up here. Tom Dustin, what can I say about this loser, I would shoot him myself, but first I would ask him to climb into the dumpster before I shoot him, because after I shoot him, I don't want to touch his filthy bottom. Tom Dustin, what are you even doing here at the roast in this bottoms up pizza? But I imagine they probably need somebody to eat all the pepperonis that fall on the floor. It's Tom Dustin. Tom Dustin. Jesse Thomas, the person that we all are here to roast. Jesse Thomas has a joke about his fear of peeing in the woods and the fear of his penis being bitten off by the dick deer. The funny thing is, his dick being bit off by the dick deer is the closest thing to head that he would ever get. I can't remember the last time Jesse Thomas had a woman, let alone had a kiss. If you ask the women, well, that was bad English. If you ask the women in this room, they would probably tell you they would rather be high off bath salts and eat their own face than to kiss Jesse Thomas's face. A hungry woman wouldn't kiss Jesse Thomas's face if it was covered in Jerry's Backyard barbecue sauce, the best barbecue sauce in the United States of America. Jesse Thomas, I really can't believe you're wasting your time trying to be a comedian. With a body like that, you're more fit to lead a bloodhound in a manhunt. I mean, I'm gonna reread that joke. It says, Jesse Thomas, I can't believe you're wasting your time trying to be a comedian. With a body like that, you're more fit to be the lead bloodhound in a manhunt. Look at that body. You look like the Chewbacca of humans. An albino wildebeest on 2 legs. Jesse Thomas. But for real, I do thank Jesse Thomas for all that he's done for the Richmond comedy scene. A lot of people, they are in comedy and still doing comedy because of some of the avenues that Jesse provided. He's a great friend. He gives feedback, and he's definitely one of the reasons why I'm continuing doing comedy. Thank you, Jesse, for helping me get gigs and for helping me write things and for helping me read. Shut up. But Jesse Thomas, if I can say that I have a friend in the Richmond comedy scene, it is Jesse Thomas. And I hope that Jesse Thomas will remain Jesse Thomas and that he does have a bright future.
Marshall, everybody, keep it going. That was a loud and long round of applause for you, Corey Marshall. Right now, your next roaster coming to the stage, good friend of mine, Roy Rogers, and I just want to share with you guys a little fun fact about Roy Rogers. Roy is a huge soccer fan, if you don't know that already, and over the past few years, American interest in soccer has gone way up. Unfortunately, interest in Roy Rogers' act is at an all-time low. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, Roy Rogers.
Where'd Corey go? Corey, you left. No, that's all right, man. I was just gonna say that wasn't super smooth, but you're reading at a 6th grade level. It's fantastic. Oh man, we're here to roast my former roommate, Jesse Thomas. You know, you're about to become the only 26-year-old living with his parents who still gets his dick sucked. Unfortunately, it's by comedians wanting stage time. Oh, that's right. You thought Cantone was rocking mustache wax? I'm not saying it's semen, but he got a headline a week before Odyssey did. Jesse Jarvis. Man, you've been my best friend since 12th grade, which is weird because I never thought you'd be one of those people that peaked in high school. He is a hit with the women. But older women despise you because you remind them of that time Paul Simon gave them syphilis. Half of this room doesn't know what Paul Simon looks like. Andrew Pauley's here. Don't worry, little buddy. We brought a stool so you can see over the podium. Oh, man. You're a furry little bastard. How was the ride over in Richard Gere's asshole? I kid. You are the epitome of the saying, jack of all trades, master of none. Except for, getting laid off. All right. People getting fired in this economy. Not very funny. Moving on. Corey Marshall. Every time I see you, I think to myself, when did Mos Def get AIDS? And will Febreze get that out of my couch? Oh, man. Anybody that's ever received a phone call or a text from Corey Marshall knows he has about 1 billion cell phone numbers, which is one less than Tom Dustin has STDs. David C. Wingfield, you're the ultimate one-up guy. Anytime, that's really an understatement, because anytime you open your mouth, we're afraid 7-Up is going to sue you. All right. Thank you. All right. What do Channing Tatum and David C. Wingfield have in common? People get irritated anytime they open their mouth. Moving on. Ray Bullock, who's not sitting here. There you are, you fat fuck. You look like the love child of Michael Chiklis and John Wayne Gacy, whose collective atrocities, the Fantastic Four movies and the raping and murdering of several young men, are still more entertaining than anything you've ever done. Ray Bullock's had a slew of ex-girlfriends, all of whom could be their own set of Garbage Pail Kids cards. There's Creole Kathy, Midget Mary, Amputee Amy, Bounce Adams, Jesse Thomas's dick. Oh, I'm sorry, you thought your Ray was using that wax to shine that bald head? I'm just saying, he's got a guest spot at the Funny Bone next week. Nick Cantone, look at you, writing furiously. When Marvin Gaye sang Ain't No Mountain High Enough, he had clearly never seen your nose. Nick's all-mustache band, the Mustache Kings, played at the Tampa Improv, which means they're 2 dog acts away from hiring Odyssey. Nick Cantone performed at the Brouhaha Comedy Festival in 2009. Tom Dustin drank beer at the Brouhaha Comedy Festival in 2009. There was no festival in 2010. Coincidence? I think not. Oh, man. Odyssey Michaels, your ears are small, man. But it's only because you have a massive fucking head. Where do you fit all of that ego? Bam! Thank you. Odyssey has a green thumb. He can grow anything except for hair on Ray, Corey, and Derek's head. Derek Rock's here, which means somewhere a whack-a-mole game is missing a mole. Seriously, why are you even here? Did you blow Jesse too? Oh man. Buzz with 1 Z. The other Z he puts into women's drinks. Buzz likes to talk about his sexual encounters with women, but I'm pretty sure he's just memorized every episode guide to Law & Order Special Victims Unit. Buzz enjoys karaoke and Barely Legal Women. Who knew he was Japanese? Rick Bruner's here, new friend of mine. Rick and I don't see eye to eye politically. He's right and I'm correct. Rick loves the rock band Kiss. It makes me wonder why he doesn't like Ray Bullock's comedy. They both subscribe to the theory that if you can't be good, you might as well be loud. Rick used to have a ponytail, now he's here. It's proof that God does eventually punish everyone. Dustin. Tom Dustin didn't actually write any of his material. It was all ghostwritten by David Duke. 3 people got it.
Voted for him. You're old.
Oh, shit. Tom's actually not allowed to joke on my buddy Jarvis tonight because I'm pretty sure it's still illegal for, fuck it. I'm pretty sure it's illegal for blonde-haired, blue-eyed folk to roast Jews. For those of you who don't know, Tom's from Boston. He runs the Boston Comedy Softball League. You know the old saying, if you look like a lesbian, you play softball like a lesbian, then hell, you must be a lesbian. Oh, man. I'd like to imagine the moment you were born, your mother's snatch became the filthiest place on the planet. Oh, man. And that brings me to Jesse Thomas. Squarely back at you. I tried to write a joke about your cold streak with women, but then I realized at a certain point, it becomes a drought. Jesse Thomas's love life is so sad and pathetic, I recently saw a commercial where Sarah McLachlan was singing and trying to save it. I'd like you all to know that joke was written by the chocolate syrup that sits atop this melted vanilla ice cream. What baffled, Jesse and I were roommates for 2 years, and one day he tells me that he finds it acceptable for adults to average shitting their pants once a year. I don't know why I'm throwing darts in the dark, but I'm just curious. I think this is the reason why women don't want to see you naked. But seriously, man, you've been my good friend for 3 years now, been roommates, we've been through hell together. If it weren't for you, you saw some potential in me at an open mic. I wouldn't be doing comedy. I wouldn't be here tonight. And I'm eternally grateful for that. I met Ashley through comedy. Met all these wonderful people. So thank you very much. Give it up for Jesse, everybody.
Roy Rogers, everybody. Keep it going. All right, so your next roaster coming to the stage is Andrew Pauley. You might not know, Andrew Pauley hails from the mountains of West Virginia. Comes from a long line of Pauleys on both sides of his family. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Pauley.
Thank you, Mr. Cantone. Thanks for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. I was a late addition to the roast because everybody forgot who the fuck I am. So while everybody else is making jokes on each other, I have the unenviable task of holding Jesse Thomas accountable. Holding him accountable for crimes against comedy. So, Mr. Thomas, I'm gonna take this thing. Mr. Thomas, will you please raise one hand and put the other one on this fucking book? Do you swear to tell the whole joke and nothing but the joke, so help you, Robert Schimmel?
I do.
Good. It's playing along so far. Can you state for the record, what is your full name?
Jesse Christopher Thomas.
Lovely. Do you have any known aliases?
Possibly the J train.
27 inches!
20 Never pass yourself off under the name Dickwood Martindale.
I plead the fifth.
In my court now, Thomas. Thomas, you told some horrible jokes over the years. Did you and two members of this dais, is that what we're saying, a dais? Is that how you say it? This group of fucking people. did you and two accomplices appear on this very stage under the guise of the Mad Bear Train? Are those people in this room right now? Can you point to them? You should be ashamed of yourself. There's 5 minutes of my life that I'd like back. I think we refer to it as Hip to be Bear. Now, maybe Jesse can summarize it in about 4.5 minutes. How did that joke go?
Hip to be Bear.
It is. Jesse Thomas is a comedy machine. His best jokes were told as a fucking robot. You guys familiar with the joke bot? Yeah. What's a joke bot? 3,000, 9,000? Yeah, it really does. 30 seconds of it was too long. I didn't write jokes. Now is your chance, audience. Thank you for coming out. Do you find, first off, who finds Jesse guilty of crimes against comedy? Raise your hands, clap, do something. A round of applause if you think Mr. Thomas is innocent. I hereby sentence you to comedy purgatory in Northern Virginia. That's all for that. Jesse is probably the only reason I made it as long as I did in comedy, and he's a great guy. Best of luck to you.